Hello there and welcome back to my YouTube channel. James here as ever for today's ACCA video all about how to pass your upcoming financial management, that's the F9 exam. If this is the first time you've visited my channel before, and where have you been? I mean, plenty of lovely content here as ever, but I'm an ACCA qualified member from the UK, and on my YouTube channel I help out ACCA students like yourself pass your upcoming examinations from my experience. In today's video, as I said, we're going to be going through the actual top tips to pass your upcoming financial management exam, but this is actually one part in an 8-part series as well, or should I say lecture series, where we're going through the top tips today, but what I've done for you is I've put the link so you can access the full playlist in the description to this video. Because my actual YouTube channel is 100% student-led, I dedicate all my videos to my subscribers and followers wherever you may be around the world, and today is no different, because I assume by you clicking on this video you need some help to pass it, and as you can see by the postings around me here from Instagram and wherever else, it's a case of there are quite a lot of ACCA students who would like some financial management help. So it's dedicated to you guys here. I really appreciate it, and you're more than welcome for the video and the content as well. Now, if this is the first time you've visited my channel before, make sure you subscribe. You'll get access to all of my free materials, no matter which exam you're doing now or in the future. If you've got any requests for videos you would like me to do, or feedback on the video and lecture series itself, leave me a comment below. I answer absolutely all of them. And whilst you're down there, make sure you give the video a massive thumbs up and like, so that more ACCA students like yourself can see this content around the world, wherever you may be. So I'm just going to walk and talk you through the key elements. I'm going to hop over to the main screen now, get a pen and paper at the ready. These are the tips that I'd be implementing, should I say, from my experience. I'm not going to go back and edit it now. This is it, that you should be doing for your upcoming financial management exam. Back on serious stuff now. Eyes on the prize. Let's get you through this, and I really hope these top tips are going to be the difference that are going to get you into that 50 plus and moving on and passing your upcoming financial management exam. Well, without any further ado, and I'm going to get my breath back now, let's head on to the main screen, and 3, 2, 1, and go! Hello, and welcome to Lecture 8, our bonus lecture, all about how to pass your upcoming financial management, that's the F9 ACCA exam, with tips and with my insights. My name is James, and in today's lecture I'm going to take you through the 4 key areas that you can see on your screen. So first of all, we've got all of the key fundamental areas that you must know upon completion of your financial management module that's going to help you in future exams as well. I'm going to take you through the actual financial management exam time strategy and all of the areas from the external examiner's report that you need to be aware of to help you out, that with good time management you've got a better chance of passing. Thirdly on here, the ACCA computer-based examination format. So that's whether you're doing it in a centre or from home, but most likely you'll be doing it from in the CBE format. And then finally on here, some more financial management exam techniques at the end of this. Again, what I'd be actually implementing myself, that I'd be using, that is going to get me over that 50 mark and into the pass. So first of all, you've got to ask yourself, well, what do I need to know upon completion of going through all my study texts, all my revisions, notes on here, before you actually start getting into past paper questions, going through CBE practice simulations on there as well, so actually using the format. And I've broken it down there from parts A to H. These are all what we've covered in the actual 7 previous lectures in this actual course. So as you can see on here, everything from the role and purpose of you being a financial manager yourself. The only one that I haven't included within the 7 lectures is because it links into the actual computer-based format that you can access these on the ACCA's platform, is applying employability and technology skills. So this involves utilising the ACCA format. I'm going to show you on the future side how you're going to actually utilise this and where to lay out all of the areas as well. Now, at the bottom as well, just so you're aware going into this exam, the pass rate to get through the FM or the F9 paper is around between 45 to 50%. So if you can actually go through and ask yourself the night before the examination, points A to H on here, and be confident going into the exam. You've taken the core concepts we've discussed in this course and then apply it to past paper questions, more actual questions from the revision that you're able to do as well. So maybe your core text has got some extra questions in there. That is really going to pay dividends, especially as the external examiner continually mentions in their external examiner's report, students who fail this exam do not take the concepts from the module and apply it to the scenario in the examination. So make sure you've got that written down in your notes to get us started off. So to actually make sure you're within that 45% or so that pass this exam, in terms of the exam time strategy, to go into a bit more detail on it now, this is the sort of format and background of the financial management paper that you need to know going into your exam. So first of all, you've got 180 minutes, give or take. Yes, I know you have a bit of reading time, but let's keep it consistent on here. So that gives us 1.8 minutes per mark, plus that reading time, as I said, which is 15 minutes. Now, breaking this down into the three sections, so for section A, you've got 54 minutes, section B, you've got 54 minutes, and section C, you've got 72 minutes on here. So make sure, if you want to get a screenshot of it, whatever it may be. Now, from my expertise and my insights of this module itself, section A is the easiest out of the three, okay? So this is where you've got 15 OTQs, so objective test questions, all at 2 marks each. So this is usually where silly mistakes are made. So ideally you'd go through the questions first of all, have one go at it, and then come back later on in the exam with a fresh mind to review them again to make sure you've read them through correctly. I also have to highlight that if you've got section A as the more slightly easier area of the actual exam, section C is definitely the most challenging because it's all scenario-based questions. Definitely something key to get down, and basically in section C, if you are not applying your answer back to the scenario, this is one of the major factor areas why people fail this exam. The other factor on this is why I've got the 54 minutes on there and take the 1.8 minutes per mark, because those 30 marks, it's not just one big 30 mark question, it might be a 10 and a 20 or a 15 and a 15, but apply it because practice questions that you do in your own time, do them to time, put your phone away, focus on it, make sure that is the only thing there, and if you're doing the questions on your computer, make sure you've got all the other tabs closed down, no notifications, as if it was the actual thing, and trust me on this, you'll start to see real progression. Also make sure to be strict to move on to next sections, because another area that the external examiner continually says that students tend to just start off with A, then go on to section B, and then they run out of time in section C because they haven't done enough question practice to understand the size of it and the detail required as well. Another good tip to get down that I used to implement quite a lot, especially for financial management where there's a lot of theory, there's a lot of calculations, there's lots of core concepts that we've gone through in previous lectures, is if you didn't understand something within a past paper question or a revision question you're going through, make sure you write it down in a separate note or a separate folder so you actually compile them all together. It means that you keep the things that you didn't know as you're going through, because we'll come on to it later, the types of areas in the syllabus that can be tested in the different sections. It's going to help you learn more effectively. Now, I've touched on the ACCA computer-based format, and this is another hurdle where students will fail this exam. As you can see on here, you've actually got the actual Excel format with lots of functions on there as well, where you can actually copy and paste some of the areas into it if you wish. But the main fundamental thing that I see in the external examiner's report now is first of all showing all your workings on one side, and then also you've got to try and get into the habit of writing down what you're doing in your workings or why you're doing this. Communicate to the examiner and the marker why you are doing that. That is a key thing going away from this slide. And again, you can go onto the ACCA practice platform to try a few more of these questions, but it is going to come with practice. If you're going into your financial management exam that is computer based and you're going into the format for the first time, you're going to be at a disadvantage. You need to get familiar with how it works, how the marks are laid out on there, and how much time it takes to go through each question. So this is a typical format screenshot on there. You can access these on ACCA's website. Make sure you go through these and have a go at them after, when you've gone through the core text. So after you've watched all the previous lectures on this actual course, you've had a look through your actual core text, you feel confident in it to go and try some practice questions, because the actual practice questions will show you areas of your core knowledge you need to be working on as well. So a really good tip there to actually implement as well. That's the application that will help you out in the long run. Now on here, we've got finally, from the computer-based format, we've got actually on here, so section A, how's it broken down so that you have a bit more of a understanding how, if you can actually picture how the exam's going to go in your mind, then you're more likely to actually succeed, to say, well, section A first, then on to B. But this is the breakdown of the objective test questions in section A and B, and then also we've got the constructive response questions of 2 20 markers. And again, they are scenario based, so a lot longer on top of it. So it's just got a nice little breakdown for you on there, so that you can actually break it down and say, how many marks have I got in this question and how many minutes have I got to answer it. With part B on here, I've got Excel, formulas, math skills are all key to success in financial management. Also, before the exam, on the computer-based exam format, I've put on there for C, be familiar with formulas and the tables provided. There are lots of formulas on there, from the WACC to dividends as well to CAPM. Make sure you've done a practice question involving all of them on there, because you've got different elements, from the amount of debt to growth and also the discounted factors as to, am I actually looking at maybe an annuity here, or am I actually applying a discounted factor in the investment appraisal question, maybe for MPV, for example. Part D, as I said, on the actual computer-based format, show all workings and label your work. Imagine you were the actual marker going through this. What would they say looking at your work? Can I follow it through from start to answer? Would you present this if this was an actual piece of work in your office? Part E, we've got label or keep clear all tabs, connectivity, and close all programs. I mean, this is where, especially if you've got a computer-based exam, if you've got your Ethernet cable you can plug in directly to your internet. These are just things just to settle your mind on the exam day, that you've done everything possible. Go into a quiet room, for example, like this, and yes, it's all going to help you concentrate and make sure you don't have any issues with the system, because these things can happen and you don't want things popping up on your computer when you don't want it. You're trying to focus and keep your eyes on the prize. And then finally there, set up a working environment to do the exam, so remove all clutter, all distractions, especially around your screen and in your actual physical vision in front of you. Then that is going to, again, increase your focus, so that your body and your mind will think that I'm sat in my actual working environment now, this is where I do financial management, and trying to think in your mind as well positively, this is where I'm going to pass my financial management examination as well. So finally, part 4, for some final exam technique, key advice that if I was in your shoes, what would I be looking to do myself? Going into a bit more detail now, but these things could make that little bit of extra marks just to get you into the 50 plus. Well, first of all, I'm hoping you've already done your management accounting and financial accounting examination modules, because some of those areas can definitely be applied in the financial management exam. I'd also advocate that if you have also done financial reporting, that's another one that you have to apply some of the key concepts in there, especially from the actual annual reports and the financial statements, that if you apply your technical knowledge from financial reporting and MA and FA, you've got a better chance of passing. It's also worth mentioning for Part B that as you can see on the screen, that all questions are compulsory, so you can't get around question spotting or missing out some areas. This is where past paper question practice is so key, and especially on the computer-based format as well. So the more you do, the better off you are going to be. This is another really good insight here as well. Now, in the external examiner's reports on there, which I've been through myself, section C topics are either working capital management, investment appraisal, or business finance areas. So make sure you've got those 3 areas written down. Put them with your notes from the first few lectures we've been through on here, as to say, when I go into section C, it will settle down those nerves, because 40 marks in there, it's a lot of marks, and it's usually where it's won or lost in the financial management exam. But you now know from watching this course what the 3 key areas are, and then you can focus in some question practice specifically on each area. So that covers us for section C. Section A and B can cover any part of the syllabus. So that's all 7 altogether. That's where your key knowledge, your core background knowledge, where unfortunately lots of people will fail this exam, is that they don't understand, they can't apply the key concepts that we've been through in this actual course itself. As I said, for part F, apply the concepts to the scenario versus book learning. So within this actual course that you've been on here, going through all of the key areas, all those key terms, you've got a nice little breakdown for you. The main thing to get down in your notes here is, fantastic, James, I've got all of that now. I'm going to go through my actual core notes, but I've got to change my mindset when I'm going through past paper questions and say, I've got all this knowledge now in here. I've got to apply it to the requirement and apply it to the actual scenario. Answer each part of the requirement asked for and answer the question you are being asked, okay? So this is where lots of people in financial management will know about NPV, they'll know about transaction risks, they'll know about cash management, working capital, trade receivables. They can talk about lots of different areas, but they're not being specific to what the requirement is asking. The ACCA markers are looking for you to be specific back to the requirement, answering what they are asking for, not what you want to talk about. So a really good technique, especially, be really harsh on yourself when you're marking your own work before going into the exam, and having that specific mindset is definitely going to help you out on here. And finally, at the bottom, add some variety in your study techniques. Obviously, we've talked about the actual computer-based examination, which you've got to be getting comfortable with. On top of it, you've got the core text, you've got all the actual lectures and notes from this course on top of it. But then everything from using some flashcards is always really good. Getting that sheet and noting down everything that you can actually say, I didn't actually know that. So you've got a really good learning curve there. There are flip notes. Try and get yourself a study buddy. There's online aspects on ACCA's platform where you can connect with other students around the world. All of this is going to mix it up for you, because you don't want to fall in the trap of just simply reading the book, because as we know, you've got to apply that, and you've got to take the concepts and principles, apply it to that scenario and requirement, and that is where you're going to be in the realms of passing this exam. Well, that nicely brings us on to the last element of this actual course. What I have to say is thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please feel free to leave it a review down below. Leave any comments, what you actually thought of it going into your examination, to help out other ACCA students who may actually want to look at this themselves around the world. Well, if you follow the key tips that you've been through, go back through the syllabus, and after this actual video itself, if you go away and have a look at more past paper questions, reviewing the CBE format and doing more questions on there, and revision questions where you're writing down areas of the key syllabus that you need to go away and learn, then you are going to be absolutely fine. I've got real belief that you are going to have a lot of practice going into your financial management exam, so you can pass it. That's the main thing. Well, feel free to keep in touch with me on other social media platforms as well. Let me know how you get on. I hope you enjoyed the actual course itself. Thank you very much for watching, and best of luck with your exam. Thank you. Well, that in my eyes is how you should be approaching your upcoming ACCA Financial Management, that's the F9 exam. These are the tips, these are the points, insights that I'd be looking to implement. They can all add up, trust me on it, and that is going to get you into that 50 plus, passing the financial management exam and getting that tick in the box that you so dearly want on your ACCA account. If you have found today's video helpful, and I really hope you have, make sure you give it a massive like and thumbs up below so that more ACCA students can benefit from this video around the world. If you've got any feedback or questions about financial management or ACCA, make sure you leave me a comment what you thought of the video below. I answer absolutely all of them, and it's so nice to hear who's watching these videos wherever you may be around the world. And finally, whilst you're down there, what else should you do? You should subscribe, surely. So that means you get access to all of my free materials for all of the ACCA exams that I do on the channel. The button will be down there, the ball is in your court, but you don't want to miss out on any free content, do you? That's the main thing. Well, finally, last of all, what I've done for you is I've left for you a couple of videos here, one of them being the financial management playlist. You can see all of the F9 and FM videos on my channel, along with another top tip down there that is going to help you out. Well, finally, best of luck with your actual exam. Let me know how you get on. But as always on that bombshell, I'll see you next time. Cheers.